Bluesteel Blasphemer is an isekai action fantasy light novel written by Ichiro Sakaki. This is my optimistic review of Volume 1 as translated by J Novel Club. As it's the first volume, just a few things from the afterwords before we get into the stick of it. In the author's words, this book is what you might call an otherworld cheat harem. An average guy gets transported to some otherworld with a cheat that makes him the strongest character around, while all the other girls who show up instantly fall in love with him, and he winds up with a harem. This is pretty much what we all know now as the de facto isekai formula. The author does go on to say that they built this book up on the initial idea of wanting to have guns as the primary focus, because it'd be cool to have guns in a medieval fantasy setting, along with all that other normal isekai formula stuff though. This idea of guns is highlighted in the synopsis for this volume, with the first sentence being Yukinari Amino loves guns, as well as guns being one of the tags on J Novel Club's site, as well as the front cover also prominently showing off guns with the two main characters. What I'm trying to get at here is guns is supposed to be the clear draw for this book, so does it really live up to that? I mean, not nearly as much as you'd think it would, considering how it was advertised. As guns don't exist in this new world, the amount of time other characters are surprised by guns gets pretty tedious. Even the main character gets tired of people asking him. If you were looking for some crazy mods or a whole bunch of gun nerd talk, then this first volume doesn't really have any of that. But later on I could see there definitely being room for more of this. So we have Yukinari, who for the most part is once again a pretty standard isekai MC hero. He's level-headed, knowledgeable, and will be saving the day once again. Dasa, on the other hand, actually is the one with most of the plot riding on her shoulders. She's a quiet character with small amounts of dialogue, as well as trying to pull you in to feel bad for a situation, but also is the comic relief. Really feels like Yukinari is supposed to be just the action attitude, and then every other trait is put into Dasa. Honestly, I don't think this works very well at all. You'll also come across two other characters in this world. One who will provide you with your lewds, with a piece of art included. She feels like a means to an end, and kind of filling that quota. The other being a very level-headed deputy mayor of the town, Fiona. This town being where the whole book takes place. There hopefully will be a lot more involving Fiona, as she feels the most human and has what seems to be a lot of backstory to be told. There isn't much to be added to the setting. You get a tour of this town during this book, but really you only go to like 2 or 3 places during it. And this leads me now to what I truly believe is the real selling point of this book. Entity known as the Missionary Order of the True Church of Harris. You hear this name a few times throughout the book, but you finally get to meet them, and I really hope these guys continue to be a major part of the story. They have loads of flavour to them, and they remind me a lot of the Inquisition from Warhammer. The words heresy and heretics are used a whole bunch by them. I won't talk too much more about them, but these guys really were the best part of the book for me. This world also has their own version of demons that exist in this world, and right from the get-go, they're a major part of this world and how things work. Apart from the Church of Harris, the rest of the populace are just completely at the mercy of these demons. They're detailed really well, being truly terrifying, and despite the setting of this town not being too memorable, these demons really do add a lot to the book, and I can imagine there'll be a lot more of them to come in the future. There's also a very small section of economics. I'm not really sure exactly what to call it, but Yukinari looks to share some of his past world knowledge forward onto this medieval era of a world. So there's some talk about agriculture and attempting to help advance the science of his town beyond its current state. This is a nice change from other isekai generally, where the knowledge is more about RPG game information and less about real world knowledge. He doesn't proclaim to be a genius in this area either, but attempts to just try and help this old era ways of doing things. At least for me, his level of understanding of these things felt very similar to my own, and really helped me pull me more into this world and into the character. So overall, I felt this book had a lot of good things going for it. The overall setting isn't too exciting and not overly special, and the main character is alright, but several of the other characters and entities you get to introduce to are really exciting, and they have a lot to add. The encounters have a lot of detail poured into them and drags you in even without needing to see any art. The promise of guns and gun-related things, though, is complete wash. They do take part in action scenes, but if you replace the guns with just some other magical weapon, the effect of these scenes and character reactions would be all the same. Thanks for listening, and until next time.